Chapter 35. Later Moses called the entire assembly of the sons of Israel together and said to them, "These are the words that Jehovah has commanded to do them. 6 days may work be done, but on the 7th day it will become something holy to you, a Sabbath of complete rest to Jehovah. Anybody doing work on it will be put to death. You must not light a fire in any of your dwelling places on the Sabbath day." And Moses went on to say to the entire assembly of the sons of Israel, "This is the word that Jehovah has commanded, saying, From among yourselves take up a contribution for Jehovah. Let every willing-hearted one bring it as Jehovah's contribution, namely, gold and silver and copper, and blue thread and wool dyed reddish purple, and cocker scarlet material, and fine linen and goat's hair, and ram skins dyed red, and sealskins and acacia wood, and oil for the luminary, and balsam oil for the anointing oil, and for the perfumed incense, and onyx stones, and setting stones for the ephod, and for the breastpiece. And let all the wise-hearted ones among you come, and make all that Jehovah has commanded, namely, the tabernacle with its tent and its covering, its hooks, and its panel frames, its bars, its pillars, and its socket pedestals, the ark and its poles, the cover, and the curtain of the screen, the table and its poles, and all its utensils, and the showbread, and the lampstand of illumination and its utensils, and its lamps and the oil for illumination, and the altar of incense and its poles, and the anointing oil and the perfumed incense, and the screen of the entrance for the tabernacle's entrance, the altar of burnt offering and the copper grating that is for it, its poles and all its utensils, the basin and its stand, the hangings of the courtyard, its pillars and its socket pedestals, and the screen of the gate of the courtyard, the tent pins of the tabernacle and the tent pins of the courtyard and their cords, the garments of knitted work for ministering in the sanctuary, the holy garments for Aaron the priest, and the garments of his sons for acting as priests. Accordingly, all the assembly of the sons of Israel went out from before Moses. Then they came, every one whose heart impelled him, and they brought every one whose spirit incited him, Jehovah's contribution, for the work of the tent of meeting, and for all its service, and for the holy garments. And they kept coming, the men along with the women, every willing-hearted one. They brought brooches, and earrings, and rings, and female ornaments, all sorts of articles of gold, that is, everyone who presented the wave offering of gold to Jehovah. And all those with whom there were found blue thread and wool dyed reddish purple, and cocker scarlet material, and fine linen, and goat's hair, and ram skins dyed red, and sealskins, brought them. All those contributing the contribution of silver and copper brought Jehovah's contribution, and all those with whom there was found acacia wood for all the work of the service brought it. And all the women who were wise of heart spun with their hands, and they kept bringing as yarn the blue thread, and the wool dyed reddish purple, the cocker scarlet material, and the fine linen. And all the women whose hearts impelled them with wisdom spun the goat's hair. And the chieftains brought onyx stones and setting stones for the ephod and the breastpiece, and the balsam oil and the oil for illumination, and for the anointing oil and for the perfumed incense. Every man and woman whose hearts incited them to bring something for all the work that Jehovah had commanded to make, by means of Moses, did so. The sons of Israel brought a voluntary offering to Jehovah. Then Moses said to the sons of Israel, "See, Jehovah has called by name Bezalel the son of Uri, the son of Hur of the tribe of Judah." And he proceeded to fill him with the Spirit of God in wisdom, in understanding, and in knowledge, and in every sort of craftsmanship, and for designing devices, for working in gold and silver and copper, and in working of stones to set them, and in working of wood to make ingenious products of every sort. And he has put it into his heart that he should teach, he and Oholiab the son of Ahisamach of the tribe of Dan. He has filled them with wisdom of heart to do all the work of a craftsman and an embroiderer, and of a weaver in blue thread, and wool dyed reddish purple, in cocker scarlet material and fine linen, and of a loom worker, men doing every sort of work, and designing devices. Chapter 36. And Bezalel must work, also Oholiab, and every wise-hearted man to whom Jehovah has given wisdom and understanding in these things, in order to know how to do all the work of the holy service, according to all that Jehovah has commanded. And Moses proceeded to call Bezalel and Oholiab, and every wise-hearted man, into whose heart Jehovah had put wisdom, every one whose heart impelled him to approach the work in order to do it. Then they took from before Moses all the contribution that the sons of Israel had brought for the work of the holy service, so as to do it. And as for the latter, they still brought to him a voluntary offering, morning after morning. And all the wise ones who were doing all the holy work began to come, one man after another, from their work that they were doing, and to say to Moses, "The people are bringing much more than what the service needs for the work that Jehovah has commanded to be done." So Moses commanded that they should cause an announcement to pass through the camp, saying, "Men and women, do not produce any more stuff for the holy contribution." With that, the people were restrained from bringing it in. And the stuff proved to be enough for all the work to be done, and more than enough. And all the wise-hearted among those doing the work went making the tabernacle, the 10 tent cloths of fine twisted linen and blue thread, and wool dyed reddish purple and cocker scarlet material, with cherubs, the work of an embroiderer he made them. The length of each tent cloth was 28 cubits, and the width of each tent cloth 4 cubits. There was one measure for all the tent cloths. Then he joined 5 tent cloths one to another, and the 5 other tent cloths he joined one to another. After that, he made loops of blue thread upon the edge of the one tent cloth at the junction end. He did the same on the edge of the outermost tent cloth at the other place of junction. He made 50 loops on the one tent cloth, and he made 50 loops on the extremity of the tent cloth that was at the other place of junction, the loops being opposite one another. Finally, he made 50 hooks of gold, and joined the tent cloths to one another by the hooks, so that it became one tabernacle. And he went on to make tent cloths of goat's hair for the tent upon the tabernacle. 11 tent cloths were what he made. The length of each tent cloth was 30 cubits, and the width of each tent cloth 4 cubits. There was one measure for the 11 tent cloths. Then he joined 5 tent cloths together by themselves, and the 6 other tent cloths by themselves. Next, he made 50 loops upon the edge of the outermost tent cloth at the place of junction, and he made 50 loops upon the edge of the other tent cloth that joined with it. After that, he made 50 hooks of copper for joining the tent together to become one piece. And he proceeded to make a covering for the tent out of ram skins dyed red, and a covering out of seal skins up on top. Then he made the panel frames for the tabernacle out of acacia wood, standing on end. 10 cubits was the length of a panel frame, and 1 cubit and a half the width of each panel frame. Each panel frame had 2 tenons fitted one to the other. That is the way he did to all the panel frames of the tabernacle. So he made the panel frames for the tabernacle, 20 panel frames for the side toward the Negeb, to the south. And he made 40 socket pedestals of silver for beneath the 20 panel frames, 2 socket pedestals beneath the one panel frame with its 2 tenons, and 2 socket pedestals beneath the other panel frame with its 2 tenons. And for the other side of the tabernacle, the northern side, he made 20 panel frames, and their 40 socket pedestals of silver, 2 socket pedestals beneath the one panel frame, and 2 socket pedestals beneath the other panel frame. And for the rear sections of the tabernacle, to the west, he made 6 panel frames. And he made 2 panel frames as corner posts of the tabernacle on its 2 rear sections. And they proved to be duplicates at the bottom, and together they came to be twins to the top of each one at the first ring. That is what he did to them both, to the 2 corner posts. So they amounted to 8 panel frames, and their socket pedestals of silver to 16, 2 socket pedestals next to 2 socket pedestals beneath each panel frame. And he went on to make bars of acacia wood, 5 for the panel frames of the one side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the panel frames of the other side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the panel frames of the tabernacle for the 2 rear sections to the west. Then he made the middle bar to run through at the middle of the panel frames from one end to the other. And he overlaid the panel frames with gold, and he made their rings of gold as supports for the bars, and he went on to overlay the bars with gold. And he proceeded to make a curtain of blue thread and wool dyed reddish-purple, and cocker scarlet material and fine twisted linen. With the work of an embroiderer he made it, with cherubs. Then he made for it 4 acacia pillars, and overlaid them with gold, their pegs being of gold, and cast 4 socket pedestals of silver for them. And he went on to make a screen for the entrance of the tent out of blue thread, and wool-dyed reddish-purple, and cocker scarlet material, and fine twisted linen, the work of a weaver. And its 5 pillars and their pegs. And he overlaid their tops and their joints with gold, but their 5 socket pedestals were of copper.